The day has finally arrived. We are just hours away from the 2015 NFL Draft. Here via satellite to get us prepped is college football analyst, College Game Days, Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk, this is Rachel Kilmer with Cake TV in Wichita. I understand you're joining us courtesy of a charity called Operation Homefront. Could you tell us more about that and how we can get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. Operation Homefront is a nonprofit organization that helps the military and more specifically their families. Rachel, there's such an amazing need for these individuals when they come back, giving their time and sacrificing. You'd be shocked to see that all the needs that they have. The reason I'm involved in this is I've teamed up with Eckridge over the years, and Eckridge being a company that is so giving, they've partnered up the last 3 years with Operation Homefront, generated over $750,000 for this cause, and they're doing it again this year. So beginning tomorrow all the way to July 4th, when you go to your local grocery, look for the Eckridge products. When you make a purchase, pretty simple, make a purchase of Eckridge products. 5 cents of each purchase will go into this fund, and they're looking to try to create another $250,000 this year. So all in all, that'd be over $1 million that Eckridge will have provided for Operation Homefront, the military, and these families that are in need.
All right, we'll be sure to get that information out over our social media channels. Now, we're kind of in Chiefs country here, and the Chiefs, they're interesting this year because they haven't had a second-round pick under current management. This year they do. Is there any player that you've seen over your time calling college football games that might slide into the second round that could be of great value for the Chiefs?
Well, you know, it's hard. It's so hard to speculate who's going to be available even in the first round, let alone into the second round. You know, I think that a big need that Kansas City has is the center spot. I think Cam Irving would be a great pick for them. He's an individual that played with Jameis Winston at Florida State. He was actually a left tackle who in the middle of the season moved to center and ended up having a great year and ended up being one of the best centers in the country. A very versatile player that could play anywhere, but more specifically could maybe fit in for them in a need for them, which would be the center spots. But to speculate who might be available in the second round, I think it's pretty tough to do.
Yeah, absolutely. A collective groan from Chiefs fans at the thought of taking another offensive lineman in the first round. But hey, they need it. I want to ask you about a couple of local guys looking to get drafted. KU inside linebacker Ben Heeney. He's a Wichita area native. He's projected to go in about the 5th or 6th round. But is there anything you saw from him in his 4 years in the Big 12?
Well, that's just it. Playing in the Big 12 as a linebacker, you see so many varieties of offenses. There's some weeks you're trying to deal with power football, but most often you're spread out trying to show your athletic ability and being able to make plays in space. And he did that throughout his career. A lot of times Kansas is going into games where they're playing teams that have a lot of talent. And he was a player that obviously was a great individual player on a defense that it seemed to improve as the year went on, but the guy made a lot of plays, and the fact he was tested as often as he was, I think, is why he has an opportunity to take his career now up into the NFL.
Turning back to the offensive line, Kansas State center B.J. Finney. He's one of those just great stories. A former walk-on, went on to start all 4 years. What, as a quarterback, are you looking for in an offensive lineman, and do you see those tangibles in Finney?
Yeah, I really do. I called a number of games of his at Kansas State and just impressed. Kind of your typical Kansas State player with that toughness, an ability to understand an offense that Bill Snyder, you know, he builds on kind of that old school blue collar approach of being able to run the football and run some option, but also at the same time you got to have the ability to pass protect. And he showed that ability playing, I think, the toughest position on the offensive line, playing right there in the middle. You would not believe how much communication goes on up front while the fans are cheering and the quarterback's yelling the cadence. That center's talking to the guards and trying to figure out what the defense is doing. And for him to have that much playing experience in 4 years will definitely benefit him and give him an opportunity to, again, try to get to play in the NFL.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you for your time, Kirk. We'll be sure to check out Operation Homefront online. Kirk, again, thank you so much for joining us, and have a good one.
Okay. Thank you.